Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that tells this truth, and much respect to the Akim out there laboring in his work, and peace and salutations to the hopefully elect that are scattered across the four corners of the earth to USA. Shalom. So I want to go into a lesson that's pretty much going to be centered around, these devils preparing for war against the Lamb, that is our Lord Yahushua. And these devils definitely had some plan, some in the works, because the actual chariots are showing up, and these devils, they like to control the narrative, so ultimately what they're trying to do is put the nations in fear to get them ready for the return of our Lord Yahushua. And that's what we're going to pretty much go into in this lesson, all right? So as you can see here from the people's voice, CIA agent confesses on deathbed that billions would die in 2024. And of course, we understand and know that CIA agents and insiders have a scoop on the NWO, so they know certain events that are planned by these devils, these elites. And, doesn't mean that it's going to happen in 2024, but Lord willing, that'd be the time that billions do die, because we know and understand that that must take place before our Lord Yahushua comes and delivers, the elect of the nation of Israel, the 1/3 in America, and of course the innumerable multitude that are scattered abroad. All right, death and destruction has to take place before the grand deliverance. So we hasten that day. So he says something on his deathbed, going to what these devils are plotting, in the very near future, that's going to pretty much shake the earth. And we're just going to go ahead and play the video and let you hear it for yourself, and then we'll get into the scriptures.
In the final months of his life, former CIA agent Joseph Spencer gathered his family and told them he had many secrets he needed to share with the world in the form of a deathbed confession. At the time, he was dismissed by many as a conspiracy theorist, peddling far-fetched theories about secret societies and their plans for humanity. But in 2023, his deathbed confession is gaining renewed attention, because everything he predicted is happening as we speak, like clockwork.
Yeah, so I think he predicted the C-19 and all of that, some other things. So, of course, he knew some things that were planned, by these devils. So we're going to go to the point in around 9:55 and let it play right there.
And if you've been keeping up with the propaganda broadcast recently by mainstream news outlets, you'll realize the elites have already begun laying the groundwork for this great deception.
In October 1938, Orson Welles unleashed his War of the Worlds radio broadcast to the American public. It was so realistically portrayed, vast portions of the population went into panic. Terrified citizens scrambled to evacuate their cities in droves. America had been easily tricked by very simple means.
So you see, way back in 1938, they were playing on the minds of the people, speaking about a so-called alien threat, So they been knew way back then that they was going to do this in the future, So here we are, and they bring it back out. So when you see them speak about the so-called UFOs with the chariots on the Most High, all right, they're ultimately getting the nations in fear so they can get ready for Yahushua.
To amplify this response, those who are truly in power, not only our country, but all the countries on the planet, and who are the true purveyors of the depopulation process, have formulated the final stage of their sinister plan. In the year 2024, a global event will alter the course of mankind's future. The world will stand witness to a massive alien invasion. Thousands of projected holographic alien warships will blanket the skies, sending people into a global panic. Real military crafts within the holograms will inflict actual damage to the surrounding areas to sell the gimmick. And as a result of the ensuing human chaos, a one-world government will immediately form without any resistance from the people. They will be the new world order. Once this happens, we as a people will be doomed to enslavement and accelerated depopulation. With that said, The only hope for human salvation is to acquire and spread the knowledge of these activities and agendas. Resist, retaliate, then conquer this imposing enemy. The time is now, as humanity is rapidly approaching its final days.
And what the guy's saying matches up with what this nigga Ronald Reagan said, you know? Let's hear him one more time.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
Right, so to get the nation to join together with this devil and fighting Yahweh Shai, they had to be deceived and tricked into thinking that, you know, that this is the greatest threat that we have to face rather than ourselves, all right? You're going to have World War III going on, Armageddon. These nations are going to be fighting each other. And then Yahweh Shai is ultimately going to pop up on the scene. And they're going to be pretty much, at that point, you know, ready for war with a so-called alien threat. You know, the narrative is going out. You know, the people have been put on notice right now. So when that time comes, if they do have this so-called fake alien invasion, you know, the nations will already know when Yahweh Shai pops up, you know, what time it is. You know, so let's go to 2 Thessalonians 2 in verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. All right, and that started back in the Roman Empire and has continued all the way up until these times. All right, you got the Illuminati of the Edomites, you know, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the Gettys, so on and so forth, who are working behind the scenes, causing all this mayhem to happen. It says, only he who now little will let until he be taken out of the way. So the Most High is going to allow this man to go forth with his agenda until it's time for him to be taken out of power. And that's going to be when Yahweh Shai returns. So it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed. The wicked is who? The Edomites. Malachi 1:4, man. And they've been revealed right now through the prophets, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. All right, because he's been called out, he's been exposed by the testimony of Yahweh Shai, again being spoken through the mouth of the prophets. So after that, it says, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So him being revealed, him being exposed, is going to lead to Yahweh Shai returning with that brightness, going into this great destruction, all right, taking place with the missiles, the chariots, you know, that's going to take Esau out of power, you know. So it goes on to say, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, because he's being controlled by the spiritual demon Satan. You know, that is his father. With all power and signs and lying wonders. So this man has the ultimate power to deceive on a mass level as such. To be able to have blue beam that's able to project images, you know, within the sky. You know, and you can go and research that for yourself, but they actually got stuff like that. So when these things do happen, you know, wherever they may be, over in America, across these other nations as well, all right, they all going to have that coming threat, that coming fear. Everything is a cover. When you look at what these devils got going on right now, you know, with the militaries, all right, they're currently preparing for this great war. All right, now the cover-ups that they're doing is to pretty much combat Russia, talking about the NATO. And we're just going to read it right here from Blacklisted News. NATO prepares for biggest military exercise since the Cold War and close to Russia. See that? And so, yeah, there is going to be a World War III with Russia, but Russia is pretty much the scapegoat for the true threat at hand, all right? Just like when these devils talk about building a space force to combat Russia and China, dealing with a cyber war and all that. Well, we know that behind the scenes, they're really building a space force to fight against who? Yahweh Shai, man. Right? So it's all a cover-up. So this bold part right here says NATO is preparing its biggest live joint command exercise since the Cold War next year, assembling more than 40,000 troops. All right. So yeah, as you can see, the dragon and its angels was going to these fighter jets. You know, they're getting prepared to fight in World War III, the War of Armageddon. Okay. And that's where you're gonna have, you know, Yahushua, Michael the Archangel, and the rest of the angels doing battle with the beast system, Esau's beast system over there in the Middle East. All right. Let's go to Revelation 16 real quick. And we'll start at verse 14. It says, "For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of Yahweh Shai Almighty." All right. And ultimately, it's Yahweh Shai that's gathering these nations. All right. He is working on the minds of the kings to do according to his will so that he can destroy these nations over there in the Middle East, over there in Saudi Arabia. So to prove that, Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. All right. The king's heart, dealing Esau's mind, his agenda is in the hand of Yahweh Shai. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the Most High is controlling Esau by using Satan to command this nigga to do what he need to do to get ready for this great battle. You know, so when you go back to Revelation 16 and verse 16, it says, "And he gathered them together in a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon." Okay, so they all gonna meet up in Saudi Arabia over there. All right, Yehoshaphat, which is where Yahushua is gonna sit and judge all the heathen round about. So they're gonna fight over there with the holy angels. Let's get Revelation 12 real quick. Now Revelation 12:7 says, "And there was war in heaven, Michael and his angels." All right. So when Yahushua returns, he's gonna have Michael the archangel, his right hand angel, and the rest of the angels with him. When you read Revelation 1:7, it says, "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him." Okay. So he's coming with the host of heaven. It says, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. The dragon is what? All right, Esau and his beast system. The NATO, as we just saw. And the dragon fought and his angels, right? And his angels are what? The military jets. It says, "And prevailed not, and neither was a place found any more in heaven." Because over there in the Middle East, all right, they're going to be fighting each other, but then they're going to see how a shot pop up. And then he's going to end up slaughtering all them nations at one time. With one blast, man. You know? So let's go to Joel 3 and verse 1. This is why the Most High is gathering these nations. All right? The nations will be judged. "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." And he's doing that now with this truth. All right? We've been gathered by the word of Yahweh Shai. The northern and the southern kingdom are coming back together by the way of this truth. We're seeing eye to eye again. It says, "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yehoshaphat in Saudi Arabia." Okay, Yahweh's judgment. "And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel." All right. Now, the Lord's not going to plead by saying, "Please, will you please let my people go? Will you pretty please let my people go?" Let's see how the Lord's going to plead, man. You know? Now, the Lord's coming back for war. I think that's Psalm 66. Salakia. Let me see. And what is that? Might be Psalm 68. I always get that mixed up. Isaiah 66:16. "For by fire and by sword will the Lord Yahweh Shai plead with all flesh." You see that? "For by fire and by his sword, and the slain of the Lord shall be many," man. See that? The slain of the Lord shall be many. over there in the Middle East, once the Lord judges these nations. So let's go back to Joel 3, all right? And verse 2 again, I will also gather all nations, will bring them down to the valley of Yehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they had scattered among the nations and parted my land. See that? So now the Lord is preparing these nations by making them, get their shit together, man. That's why they're practicing, to get ready for this great war. So when you go to verse 9, Joel 3 and 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. See that? Prepare war, and wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Yeah, get ready for war. Let the weak say I'm strong. And how are these weak nations saying that they're strong now? Well, because they now have nuclear capabilities, right? So assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down. You see that? O Lord Yahweh Bashmal Shai. You see that? So the mighty ones, we're just talking about the angels. Michael and his angels are going to fight against a dragon and his angels, one ram against another. So let all the heathen be awakened and come to the valley of Yehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, man. And you can read more about that in 2 Esdras, the 13th chapter. Once these nations are fighting in the midst of Armageddon, Yahushua is going to pop up on the scene, and then all these nations are going to stop fighting and come together on this common agreement that this is the greatest threat. Our fight is not with each other anymore, but rather it's with this great ship, this great mountain that just popped up with this so-called black man, Yahushua, standing on top of it with the rest of the angels. And the scripture say that the Lord is going to destroy them with one blast, all right? Nothing was to be seen but dust and smoke. I ain't going to go into it, but you can go and read it for yourself in 2 Esdras 13. So this is what's being prepared. The Lord got these nations getting ready for World War III, Armageddon, over there in the Middle East, in which Yahushua, matter of fact, let me get this real quick, all right? Yep, Revelation 17, and we'll start at verse 12 real quick. So it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, and this is talking about the 10 EU nations which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. All right, and that was back in 1958. The Treaty of Rome, in which these EU nations came into alliance. And verse 13 says, these have one mind, which is what the NWO, as you see being played out right now, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. All right, so they're going to give their power and strength unto the beast, which means that they're going to see this coming threat, which is Yahushua. Verse 14, these shall make war with the Lamb. You see that? And the Lamb shall overcome them. Over in the valley of Yehoshaphat, right? For he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. All right, which is going into the angels. So yeah, the Lord is going to overcome these devils. We read in Revelation 12 and 7 or 8 that they fought but prevailed not, and neither was a place found any more in heaven. So this is going to be a flawless victory, man. And the angels are on the elect side. They're coming to do this for the elect's sake. All right. So that's what's being prepared right now, man. So Lord willing, you will edify. Until next time, I say Shalom, DTA, and the Baba Ball soon.